Guys, long time no see. Fortunately, I got the beta. You guys are golden. Don't worry about it. Because I have the beta, I want to kind of give you my insights and predictions on how Enhance is going to be, and really what changes did they actually make. First off, what they actually removed for Enhance is they removed Earth Shock. That's only available to Elemental. So we have Frost Shock and Flame Shock, and Frost Shock was buffed, I believe, to compensate for Earth Shock damage. So we're going to be using Earth Shock and Flame Shock most of the time. They removed Spearwalker's Grace, so no more Spearwalker's Grace LE blasting. Nope, sorry. Or running around pillars, casting our very inefficient heal. Sorry. Searing Flames was removed. So that was that 5 stack you have when you cast this, when you have your Searing Totem up and you get that 5 stack, and provides pretty fucking wicked spell protection. That's gone, so that's baked in now. Well, not really baked, but they buffed Flame Tongue and Lava Lash damage to compensate for that, so you know, no longer have to think about that, which is, again, it's a good thing, because especially in PvP where Searing Totem can always attack and get 5 stacks. Now it's baked in, we don't have to worry about that. They removed Stormlash Totem, that 5-minute lightning totem that kind of gives us more attacks on each attack. They removed Bind Elemental, so no more binding at Water Ellie and laughing at them. Nope, that's gone, unfortunately, because I actually use that ability a lot. And Chain Heal's gone too, which I know another ability I bounded that I used frequently in BGs. So that's unfortunate. What's an interesting thing is, you can see right now, is I don't have any buffs on. I literally just have Lightning Shield. So where's Wind Fury and Flame Tongue? They've baked it in now. So they have this enhanced weapons. You imbue your weapons with the power of wind and fire. So basically the weapons are always bound with main hand with Wind Fury and offhand with Flame Tongue. So I'm assuming they did this to try to make it simpler and to make the people that QQ about two-handed to shut up, because I'm not sure how that would work with two-handed weapons. Next, they made it so in live right now you attack to get mana back, in a sense. Your abilities have a chance to get your mana back. But now let's see if I can waste some mana here. They basically kind of made us like Rep Paladins, where our mana regeneration is just godly to compensate for the healing. Look, I'm actually casting more than 3 healing surges before I go oh my god. So our regeneration's been buffed by nearly double, basically, to compensate for that. They see here, and here's the big thing. They changed Ascendance to do physical damage but bypasses armor. So really right now we lost that trademark of doing that crazy Ascendance burst. I mean, it's more sustained now because we're a haste class, but you're not going to see those LOL 40% health global crits. They made it just auto attacks and Storm Strike, just physical damage, bypasses armor. And the one thing now that they changed too that kind of makes me think that enhanced shamans have gone back to the Kata and Wrath playstyle is they redesigned Flurry. And what Flurry's doing now is haste will essentially lower the cooldown and global cooldown of like our main attacks, Storm Strike, Lava Lash Shocks, Witch Elements, and Fire Nova. So the more haste you have, the lower the cooldown is. So this essentially can mean that you could get 4 zaps off later in the metagame for Ascendance. Right now you can actually get 3, as I'll demonstrate. Oh yeah, that faggy Wind Strike. Do not like that new animation. 2 and 3. See, 3, because Storm Strike let me cancel this elemental mastery, is a 6.58 second cooldown. Lava Lash is 9.21, and Unleash Elements is 13. This is just with the current gear. And yeah, they're making us kind of back to that haste, so I'm feeling right now that Mastery isn't the greatest right now. Well, just because we went Mastery to really buff Ascendance, but if that's not the case, we probably are thinking more haste. The new expansion, they added more buffs. Versatility, multi-strike are the ones I like to mention. I don't know about Leech, I haven't really dealt with that. Multi-strike is really interesting because as a class with Unleash Elements, increases our multi-strike chance whenever we do Wind Furies and whatnot. Like if it's going that dummy and that dummy's broken, it does 1,000,000 damage. So multi-strike is a good stat, I believe, for Enhance now. And versatility, you have this godly, like what is the stat? This is like end all to be all stats, increases damage and healing done, and decreases damage taken. So I imagine that's pretty good. I enchanted gear with versatility to buff that shit up, because I mean, come on, it's straight up. For playstyle, for Enhance, we've gone back to, again, like what I've said before, is a very sustained damage type. As you can see, I've noticed the Maelstrom generation is a lot slower, but for those reasons I go for Glyph Purging, and to kind of help with that, with the lower cooldowns and all the spells, you'll notice that Stormstrike and all that good stuff does come off faster, so there's not that much dead space, I believe, but just because there's the Maelstrom so slow now, I feel like it's actually slower than live. For talents, it's basically the same meta as live, I believe. Nature's Guardian still being really super good. Just because it's the way the nature it is. If you ever get bursted, granted, I'll be honest, I haven't really tested Stone Bulwark, but yeah. Frozen Power and Windwalk is still really good. I'm using Frozen Power right now just because there's literally a shit ton of melee in the skirmishes. Windwalk, of course, good from like literally all the time. Same thing with tier 3, Call of Elements, Totemic Projection, Totemic Persistence still being garbage. With tier 4, they change Echo of the Elements, so your spells have a chance to cause your next Lava Lash, Storm Strike, Frost Shock, or Fire Nova, and basically this is like a 30-second buff that pops up. But the thing is, it procs really badly, and if you think about it, if it procs badly, and you could be like just like in the zone, and you push Frost Shock, and boom, you just wasted the buff. So I figured out that this talent is pretty fucking garbage, because I mean, it's not predictable, it's RNG based, and to be honest, I don't like an RNG game. With Ancestral Swiftness, it's the main notable thing is you can't use Ancestral Swiftness now with Hex. Hex is not scaled with Maelstrom anymore, so you do have to cast it, so it's a 1.5 second cast. Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate. So this one's good in a way because it does reduce the cooldown of all your abilities. You get that passive haste, which is good. Right now, I've been messing around with Elemental Mastery, just because you can kind of treat it like an NS Hex. You can pop that and then get Hex down to like a 1 second cast kind of thing, and help out with getting that fast Hex off. And not to mention, like again, we popped this with Ascendance, you're just fucking cruising, gain Maelstrom 1,000,000 times a minute. The downside is, again, we lost Searing Flames at 5 stack and gave us pretty wicked spell protection. So this will literally get purged off instantly if anyone has a brain. So that's the bad thing. But for damage wise, it's pretty beast. For talents, or for tier 5 for the healing, essential guidance, and rushing streams. Unfortunately, you're not as a god mode now with essential guidance because they nerfed it from 40% to 20%. I mean, but they across the board they nerfed healing for a lot of classes. So I mean, it's not just us, so it's not that bad. I might have to do some further testing to figure if Russian streams is still better for like 3s, just because Ancestral Guidance doesn't offer that burst healing anymore, so maybe the sustained healing will outweigh that now. For the next tier, the same deal, right? We go through Unleash Fury as going through the first meta and Mop to Elemental Blast later. But right now, we're going back to where, remember when Lightning Bolt actually hit hard? Yeah, it hits harder now in Warlords. Basically, it crits just as hard as Elemental Blast, and the average hits with the 30% buff to Lightning Bolt. When you get this thing up, average hits the same too. And not to mention, it does increase your multi-strike for literally all your other abilities too, so you have that added advantage. I like this now more than Elemental Blast, just because there's so much RNG based now. Again, too, look at this: agility, critical strike, haste, mashing, multi-strike, or versatility. Like, god damn. So, I'm feeling Unleash Fury right now, but no promises. I've been doing testing on dummies, and it seems like Unleash Fury pulls more sustained damage than Elemental Blast, and it crits just as hard, so you have that burst factor. For the last level 100 talent tier, we have Elemental Fusion and Lava Lash, so you have to push it twice to get 50 then to 100% increased damage of your next shock. This does not work with Frost Shock, it works with Flame Shock. And in that sense, I don't like this talent because I'm not a dot class. And so it essentially just double the dot damage of Flame Shock, and you're thinking, oh, maybe I can spread it with Lava Lash and get that bonus damage on everybody else. No, it only works on your current target. When you spread that Flame Shock, it doesn't give that added bonus effect. So in this sense, I think this talent's pretty garbage. Storm Elemental Totem is, it's really bad. Like, I don't know, we have these abilities called Grounding Totem and Freedom Totem that we use quite often. And yeah, it's going to overlap it unless you use Totemic Persistence, but then you're losing these two abilities and it doesn't do enough damage, nor really self-sustained healing on a 5-minute cooldown to make it really worth it. I mean, you could go Totemic Persistence, Primal Ellie, and Storm Elemental and kind of do work. But like, look how much you're losing just to make this thing viable. So garbage. I have Liquid Magma that I figured out this. I think this is the best level 90 talent, or 100 rather, just because it's a burst. It offers burst and it looks fucking cool. Like, look at this. Ready? Oh my god! Look at the numbers. It does offer burst, trust me. I know the numbers are low, but it does offer burst. The only shitty thing is it goes off your Searing Totem, so that kind of sucks. If someone saw that, they could literally just whack your Searing Totem, and there goes your thing. So that kind of sucks. What else is there to talk about? Oh yeah, races. So everyone thinks, well, right now orcs are kind of godly for enhance, but they nerfed your stun reduction and the pet damage, and they still have Blood Fury, which is still good. And I guess you still look like a badass, so that's not that positive. There's dwarves, which now their thing that removes bleeds now also removes magic, so that's an added benefit. You have Taurens that have crit damage and bonus healing, and Tor Stomp, which is a little bit better than before. Taurens still not that good. the Adrenaline, which I am now, which I think is the best version for enhance. Why? Because you get a baseline agility right here. Increases strength, agility, and intellect by 130, scales with level. So you're gonna flat up increase to your main stat, which is pretty awesome, I think. You don't have that blood fury burst, but to be honest, you're getting more sustained. And since our class is not a burst class anymore, it's a sustained class, you want to buff that sustained damage. But to be honest, it's your own opinion. You can play whatever class you like. It's not going to make a huge difference in higher ratings. You could even argue trolls or goblins are viable because they offer haste. You can get that troll berserking buff lined with elemental mastery and berserking, and get haste and chance, and get your cooldown to storm strike down to like 4 seconds or 3.5. Then you need 3.5 seconds to get 4 zaps and Ascendance, so I guess you could theorycraft that way, but to be honest, Ascendance and Wind Strike is pretty garbage and it doesn't do that much damage. It just is a lot of little numbers. So remember that PvE 4-piece that makes Flame Shock reset your Lava Lash? So that's the thing now, that's baked into Enhance. So the more Flame Shocks you have up, the higher chance you have of resetting Lava Lash cooldown. So you want to get the habit of spreading Flame Shock to literally fucking everyone. So like, yeah, good. They buff Feral Spirits by literally, so 100% is double the damage. So Feral Spirits hit a little bit harder, but they also remove Spirit Bite, which is that big bite they do, so they don't have that added burst, but it's again more sustained. They baked the Healing Storm glyph, the glyph in which for every stack of Maelstrom you have, it increases your healing done by 20%, so 5 stacks 100%. So they bake that in, so you no longer have to glyph for that, which is another good thing. Glyphs wise, they have our 4-piece as a glyph. Your offhand attacks also slow the target's movement. I'm not quite sure how necessary this is, considering we're always keeping Frost Shock as our main thing now, that we always have up. So if that's 8 seconds on a 5-second cooldown, there's a good chance it's always going to be up. So this could easily be placed with Hex for that 10-second Hex. Lightning Shield's still a thing, 10%. Always going to have that, obviously. For the third slot, I like Glyph of Purging because Maelstrom right now is a pretty slow generator, and this is just another thing to help out with our Maelstrom. You could argue right now with Feral Spirit to go with that, reduce it to a minute, just for that added thing. They have our new 4-piece bonus, or 2-piece bonus, that makes us literally reduce all incoming CC by 50% for 30 seconds whenever we activate Feral Spirits. But right now the set bonuses were working, but now they're not working because I think they realize how fucking broken all of them are. So more testing to come with that. Yeah, literally all the glyphs are basically the same now. One notable thing that's pretty awesome that I love is they changed Ghost Wolf model. Look how pretty that Ghost Wolf is. Like, oh my god, look at that Ghost Wolf. How do I hide my UI? Okay, I don't know my key button is to hide my UI, but look at that. Ooh, let's take that glyph off. Yeah, look at that. Look at that wolf. Look at that wolf. Oh yeah, that's a sexy wolf. So pretty pumped about that. I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, yeah, that's about it. So more skirmishes and arenas to come. Damage is lower, so that I've done skirmishes previously, and I feel like right now the game is really fucking imbalanced, and at points I'm just not used to. I have to get that transition back to the more sustained enhanced shaman because I'm so used to globaling people. So in that sense, I do feel like I'm hitting like a wet rotten banana compared to these godly boomkins and warriors. They just global everybody and do mass amounts of healing. and execute for 130k. But you know, time will tell. Thanks for watching this randomly put together video, or it is rant for how long have you been going? 21 minutes. And I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.